All right, so this week we have read two stories, Brownies by Z.Z. Packer and Born of Man and Woman by Richard Matheson. And these stories were selected to illustrate the use of first-person point of view when you have a narrator who is in the story actually telling you the story. And I can see that you can see that the two narrators here are so totally different that it really does affect the story and what we come to understand. In Richard Matheson's Born of Man and Woman, you have a narrator who is 8 years old and has been chained in the cellar for his entire life, apparently. And the narrator's lack of understanding of grammar and of spelling and of something as simple as rain tells you quite a bit about the situation there. But since we see the story through the narrator's eyes, we have to reinterpret the things that he notices and sort of figure out what's really going on. With Brownies, you have a much different kind of narrator. You have Laurel, or Snot, as the other girls call her, is a fourth grader, and she is remembering this story probably as an adult to her fourth grade self. But even as a fourth grader, she's not a typical fourth grader. I think if you look at the small details, you realize this is an interesting little girl. She talks about how she'll read entire encyclopedias, and she gets a single line of a friend's poem in her head and she can't stop thinking about it. But she is, at the same time, she is sort of friendless in the group, and she can be bullied, or she's can be a victim of peer pressure, even though I wouldn't say she's a follower. There are times when Laurel does, if not lead, she does try to express her opinion. She just is in danger of getting beaten up sometimes. With Born of Man and Woman, the narrator doesn't really come to any deep understanding, but it's clear there's a progression there. The climax is basically his taking the stick out of his father's hand. You realize this situation is going to get worse. With Brownies, Brownies is a much more complicated story. The Laurel comes to understand something pretty unpleasant about the situation she's in and the whole incident at the girls' camp. And her understanding, it's a fourth grader's understanding as told through the memory of an adult woman. But both stories are really good examples of what happens with first-person point of view, and I think they're both really great stories. So I hope you enjoyed it. All right.